Hello, namaste. I wish you all well at this present moment in time. So, as you all know, last week I opened up my Facebook thread to ask for your topics of discussion. What would you like me to discuss? What would I be able to talk about for you? And so today I come to talk about a topic that did not come up in that list, but nevertheless I find very important because it cropped up a lot last week. In fact, it's cropped up a lot over the past few months, um, and therefore I wanted to touch on it. And the topic I wanted to touch on comes from a very old philosophical question. What is truth? More importantly, I wanted to touch on something that you refer to as absolute truth. Absolute truth, the truth of all truths. Now, I went to Circle last week and I sat in Circle and we had a discussion. And in the movement of this discussion, we came to a place where somebody expressed the view it's all just opinion. We're all entitled to our opinion. And nobody's opinion is better or worse than anybody else's. To a degree, I accept that. But let me say this. There is a huge difference between opinions and facts. Nowadays, the line has become blurred. People take their opinion to be a statement of fact, and that is simply not true. Fact is fact. Admittedly, through the, what's the word I want? With better understanding, better knowledge, um, better application of science, for example, facts can, or established facts, can change over time. Evolution, gravity, the nature of the universe, quantum physics, astrophysics, these things are based on theories, are best accepted truths, and they become facts. And perhaps some of them in time will change and mutate slightly. But opinions are opinions. 2 plus 2 is 4. That is a fact. It is not an opinion, it is a fact. Other facts align in the world. I am a carbon-based creature, carbon-based life form. That is a fact. If you tested my body, if you looked up its elemental makeup, I am largely based of carbon, as are you, as is all life on this planet. Absolute truth. What is the idea behind absolute truth? And we have now abandoned this concept, but absolute truth. I spoke in Circle, and the lady said, "You're only projecting your version of the truth. Nobody knows the whole truth. Nobody knows the truth. It's only opinions." Now, I just want to challenge something here. As spiritualists, as a religion, one must surely assume that our job is to dig down through all of the fog, all of the illusions thrown up by our minds, all of the information we are fed from the Spirit, we must dig through them to find a place of truth. I have sometimes said in philosophy, my job is not to give comfort. It is a welcome attribute of a spiritual message. It is welcome to give comfort. It is welcome to bring understanding. But my job is essentially to speak the truth that I believe. Admittedly, that is based more on belief than fact, but somewhere within my truth, somewhere within your truth, somewhere within the truth of all 8 billion of us, there are a series of concepts that belong to the absolute truth. Now, I give you an example of absolute truth, and where it's a bit of a dodgy thing because absolute truth can come across a bit preachy. You could possibly force your ideas on other people, or it appears that you're forcing your ideas on other people. Imagine Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or Elijah. Imagine them saying, I can walk on water in my opinion. In my opinion, this bush set itself on fire and spoke the words of God. In my opinion, an angel appeared to me and revealed the words of the Lord. Imagine Buddha saying, in my opinion, meditation is good for the soul, but who am I? It's only an opinion. They didn't do that. Jesus did not say, in my opinion. Moses did not say, in my opinion. Muhammad did not say that. Elijah did not say that. Buddha did not say that. Many people over the course of the centuries have not said, in my opinion. They have said, in truth, in knowledge, with understanding. Because they have the power of their conviction. They have the knowledge of absolute truth. And all they were doing was waiting for other people to come around to the belief and acceptance of the truth that they know. In spiritual philosophy, as with all things, we have accepted concepts that slowly but surely, over the course of time, the passage of years, and the communal mind of the body of humanity will evolve and adapt and expand. We called it unfoldment, the unfoldment of truth. And the idea is that as the truth unfolds one day, far from now, we will reach a place of absolute truth, absolute wholeness, oneness, completeness, etc. That absolute truth gives no room for opinions. It gives no room for possibilities. It is absolute. It is, as it says in the book of Exodus, when Moses is revealed the name of God, God says, I am as I am, and all that is me. It's not exactly what he said, but it's the best I can paraphrase right now. I am as I am. God spoke the word, and the word was God. The idea being that they are absolute. It is absolute. There is no room for question, no room for equivocation, no room for maybe, possibly, kind of, sort of, thereabouts. It is. I am because I am. Now, let me just say slightly one other thought that goes within this. I also tried to say in Circle last week that actually, whilst we all say within spirituality that every medium works differently, I have said for quite a long time, I don't believe that's true. I do not believe we all work differently. I think we all translate the information differently. I don't think we all receive it differently. And I'll tell you for why. And for why is a lovely phrase, isn't it? Because within the nature of the spirit is part of this physical world. Even though it is immaterial, etheric, it is nevertheless part of the universe. There are certain guiding laws, principles behind the nature of the universe. The laws of karma, the 12 laws of karma, form part of the bedrock of the universe. These laws do not give allowance for your views or opinions. They are not open necessarily for your interpretation. They are as they are, regardless of your view. The same, I feel, applies to mediumship. It is part of the mechanic of creation. And spiritualists will often advertise teaching lessons called the mechanics of mediumship. If something has a mechanic, then it stands to reason it follows a pattern. It stands to reason it has basic laws underlying. And so I personally believe that we all receive the information relatively the same way. We just interpret it slightly differently. To make a parity, our minds think thoughts when we wish to speak. And those thoughts very, very quickly translate themselves into commands and controls that will affect how I breathe and will affect how my voice box controls the threads in my throat. How those words come out is different for all of us, but sometimes by tiny, 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 tiny fractions, and other times by huge swathes of difference, because my tongue also will move. My brain sends thoughts to my throat and to my tongue. My throat allows air to move out at a certain pitch and a certain frequency. My tongue shapes the sound with my lips to make words. Similar to mediumship, spirit infers thoughts, images, mind streams, etc., into the mind through vibration. Our brain interprets the vibration and passes the command through the mouth, through the throat, and allows us to enunciate, I suppose, what the spirit world wants to say. It's a very posh and arty-farty way of saying something very simple, so forgive me. But the word love, for example, amor, adore, is the same the world over in thought, if not in sound. Good morning, as we have said many times, good morning. The thought and the sound are exactly the same in practice, but not in performance, as kalimera, good morning, kalimera, porrida, goimoy. They mean good morning. The thought is exactly the same. The thought sends the command to the voice. The only difference is my mouth makes a different sound because it was required for the understanding of the person whose language I may be speaking it in. Ergo facto, all mediumistic communication must, to my opinion, happen in the same way. It is only the nature of the individual that changes how the information is given out. And maybe ever so slightly how it's received. Kind of like if your brain thinks in a different language, the principle is the same, but anyway, there is an accepted truth. My accepted truth. I accept the absolute truth that not only does God exist within me, but I exist within God, that all of creation is part of God's wholeness, and that I am not a separate entity existing in the universe. I am simply an extension of the one God. That all of you are not separate beings, you are extensions of the one being. You are an enfoldment of the constant truth, and the single only truth that matters is God is because you are because God is, life is eternal, God is life, life is God. That is the one absolute truth. And then comes the laws of karma, which again are accepted truths. Now, when I was in Circle the other day, we had a discussion about a particular political event that was happening at the time. No, not the general election. It is to do with a conflict. And I said, according to international law, this particular action is actually not illegal, it is legal. This action, however, is illegal. And the person I was discussing with said, I don't agree with that. That is incorrect. You are wrong. what you are suggesting is morally improper. And I said, I absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree that what the law says and what my morality tells me are in contradiction to one another. The law is still the law. And she said, well, the law is wrong. The law, human law, material law, yeah, it can be wrong. But if we were to assume that as spiritual law and human understanding, just because you don't like the nature of God doesn't mean that God is any different to what it is. Your displeasure, your disagreement with the controlling forces of the universe do not detract from the absolute truth of it. You're entitled to your opinion. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Your opinion is not fact. Facts change with time and understanding as truth unfolds. But truth itself is a funny area because your truth and my truth are very different to the absolute truth, the one truth, the whole truth. You take my version of the truth, your version of the truth, mesh them together, you'll find somewhere in the middle there is something that resembles our truth, but it takes a little bit more to reach the absolute truth. It takes many lifetimes to be able to understand. But it is all I wanted to talk about. Accept you have an opinion. Understand that your opinion is worthwhile. It is valid. Your opinion, however, is not facts. Facts are not sedentary. Facts are only levels of truth. And as that truth deepens, as it unfolds, those facts evolve. Sometimes they evolve so much as to be dissolved. Sometimes they evolve so much as to become concrete, to be absolute. And then remember that the universe is governed by particular laws. They are not necessarily the laws that we understand in terms of the laws of karma per se, things like the golden rule, do unto others as you'd have done unto you. They are nevertheless there, though, and they don't really give allowance for your understanding or interpretation. They are as they are. I give you one slight example because I tried to talk about this the other day and people didn't like it. According to humans who wish to say these things, we are all equal. We are all equal. Every one of us here in this room, we are equal. Not true. Not true. We are not all equal. We should be equals, all of us, in the fullness of time, with the right spiritual development, we will be all equal. But right now, we are not, and we are a long way from being equal. When one person is terrified about turning their heating on, and the other person is concerned that the water in their swimming pool is not quite warm enough, and they don't have to worry, they are not equal. When one person rations a loaf of bread whilst the other person throws out a whole cupboard of food simply because they don't want any of it, we are not all equal. When one person can rise to become prime minister or president and another person can hardly rise out of their bed, we are not equal. When one person can get a job because the colour of their skin suits and another person, despite their education, is disqualified, we are not all equal. When your gender or your sexuality, your race or your religion are taken into consideration in deciding who you are, we are not equal. whilst poverty exists, we are not equal. Whilst disease exists and famine exists, we are not equal. The doors of opportunity are not open to everybody, despite what we are told. Some people can be things and some people can't. We are equal spiritual entities, but we are not materially equal. And we must reach a place of spiritual and material equality to reach a place of true equality. I went to watch a service recently where I was told by the speaker we are all equal, and I smiled because whilst that speaker may have believed that they were equal, the fact that the committee behind them had come suited and booted and dressed to the nines with their hair done and their ties on and all their badges, etc., they just proved we are not equal, but we are meant to be. We are at the heart of it equal. But until such time as spiritual and material match one another, it is not true. But that is nevertheless our truth. We are spiritually equal. The other reason we're not all equal, and this is something, a phenomena of the modern world, and I'm going to shut up in a second, a phenomena of the modern world. There is this belief that everybody's opinion is as equal as everybody else's, and that is simply not true. Everybody's opinion, in a fashion, deserves to be heard. But some people's opinions are more informed than other people's. Some people know things better than other people because they have a better understanding of it, a better grasp of it. They have read and researched, they have lived and experienced. Their opinion comes from a place of knowledge, not simply assumption. I mean, how many times during recent years have you had random people from down the street say that they know everything that's going on in the universe and they know everything that's going on, and the doctors are doing this and the politicians are doing that because they've read something on Facebook, when actually qualified professors offer their opinion? They have average Joe blogs from down the street tell them that they're wrong because their opinion is not as well known as this person's opinion, even though they spent 20 years studying the topic. I am not an economist. I have an opinion on economics, but my opinion on economics will be vastly outweighed by people who are better informed than me. I have a level of understanding of the spirit world, of mediumistic communication. I am not the best informed, but I have more information than some people, and therefore, if you picked up a random person from the street and asked them to discuss the ins and outs of spiritualism, they will offer you an opinion. I will offer you an opinion. My opinion, being a spiritualist, is biased, but it is more informed, more likely than not. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. That's all I'm going to do. There's truth. There is such a thing as absolute truth. Opinions matter. They are not, however, the truth, and they must stop being mistaken for the truth. And when people quote facts, they must express and give allowance for the understanding that facts can alter when more knowledge is added, and yet some facts are fact. And let me just say this to finish on. There is no harm in speaking with conviction. When you have received revelation, when you have received understanding, you can't force your opinion on people. You have to, and you can't force your understanding on people. You can't force what you know to be true on people. You have to wait for them to come to your way and accept that they may never do. But there's nothing wrong with saying, I know this to be true because I know it is. Like, I know that we live forever. I know there is a God. I do not need that explaining to me. I know it. nobody will dissuade me of it. I don't need to persuade anybody, but I know it to be true. And I know one day everybody will become aware of that truth. As surely as the sun rises, they will learn the truth. And it will be the truth because it is the truth. And I will just add, I'm not saying my current understanding of the truth is the right one, just right for me currently. Avnadetti.